He's the rock star pontiff. Thrilling the faithful in St. Peter's Square and across the world. Pope Francis I is the new and revolutionary face of the world's largest religion. Fated by the famous, drawn to his charismatic humility. I had some girls say to me the other day that he's cooler than One Direction.
Yeah, he was the first pope took a selfie.
To get an idea of the extraordinary effect Pope Francis is having on the Catholic world, you only need to come here to his weekly Mass in St. Peter's Square, where crowds have tripled since he took over. Right now, he is, without doubt, the most popular pontiff in modern times.
What he's done, I think, is made Christians think more deeply about their faith. And lots of them have said, well, thank God for Pope Francis.
Cardinal Murphy O'Connor has known the Pope since he was simply Jorge Bergoglio, working amidst the crushing poverty of his home country, Argentina.
You see, he spent a lot of his time in the slums of Buenos Aires, and so he knows what the plight of poor people is. There are very few popes who've been in a parish, who've worked with the poor. And so he understood them, and he understood their problems and their challenges and their poverty and their lives, and he was one with them. So I think, although he helped them, I think they helped form him too.
The former nightclub bouncer turned priest is remembered in the barrios of Buenos Aires as a selfless man who gave hope to the hopeless, like former street kid Pablo Moreno. When you met him, you were a street kid on drugs. How did he help you?
Yes, he conveyed great faith to me, a great desire to grow, a great desire to live, to improve every day and to do something for the world, to make it better, to improve it. He shares his light with you, he enlightens you.
But this man of enlightenment might have taken a more earthly path had a childhood sweetheart simply said yes. Pope Francis was born and raised in this house with his 4 younger brothers and sisters. He kicked a soccer ball up and down this street, and when he was a teenage boy, he fell in love with the girl right next door at number 521 Membrochet Street. Now, he eventually gave her an ultimatum. Go out with me or I'll join the priesthood. She knocked him back and the rest is history. And what history it would prove to be when in March last year, the Church was stunned by an event that hadn't occurred in 600 years. The resignation of a sitting pontiff. Pope Benedict was seen throughout his reign as the embodiment of a church that would never change. Cardinal Bergoglio, 76 and ready for retirement, joined his colleagues in Rome to elect Benedict's successor. In the secret and arcane ritual, held 265 times since the dawn of Christendom, the conclave of cardinals in the Sistine Chapel made one of the most surprising choices in the history of the Church.
I must say my heart leapt with great joy. And then he came out and said,
Buonasera.
Buonasera. Good evening.
This outpouring of euphoria was fueled by the hope that this new pope would finally tackle the problems bedeviling the church: the horror of child sex abuse, the role of women, and recognition of homosexuals.
To be a great pope, even for non-believers, first of all, you have to be a great man. We love the new pope. We love this pope in an absolutely new and enthusiastic way.
One of Italy's most colourful and outspoken pope watchers is sociologist Franco Ferrarotti.
This man comes and he rediscovers instinctively, unexpectedly, the simple teachings of Jesus Christ as they have been enacted and lived to the very end by Francis of Assisi, and he chooses that name.
By taking the name Francis for the first time in the Church's long history, the Pope sent a message to both believers and the power brokers of the Vatican. In the 13th century, Saint Francis took on the Church of his time. Plagued by corruption and greed, it was considered out of touch with the common man. And in an astonishingly short time, he became one of the most beloved figures of the Catholic faith. The parallels between then and now are eerie.
So the fact that this man dared to take the name of one of the greatest saints in the history of Christendom was very, very significant.
A me fa male quando vedo un prete o una suora con la macchina ultimo modello, ma non si può.
Pope Francis's insistence on a church without the trappings of power or privilege, tending to the poor, and living a simple life is appealing to a rising generation of clergy like Brother Stephen Howe from Adelaide, a seminarian with the Legion of Christ in Rome. Has he made you a better person?
I hope so. I mean, he's challenged me to become a better person. He's made me think a little bit more about austerity. I was just noticing the other day, I was watching a photo of the Pope, and his watch is the exact same watch that I have, right? This is Casio, $9.95, right? Before GST here in Rome. And it's just, yeah, plastic piece of junk, basically. But the Pope wears one of these, right? Because he's selfless. He's not looking for any kind of rewards. He doesn't want some big flashy Rolex or whatever. He's just there to serve us.
Ci fa vivere in una cultura del fare, dell'utile, dove senza accorgercene escludiamo Dio dal nostro orizzonte.
He's certainly upset some people, hasn't he? To conservative critics like Juliana Ferreira, Pope Francis has dangerously liberal views on everything from the role of women in the church to acceptance of homosexuality.
There is a price that you pay for being popular, for being close to the heart of the believers. And if the price is the integrity and the solid basement of the Christian doctrine, it's too high a price to pay.
Take a very, very touchy question, an issue today, role of women in the church, or what to do with homosexuals. This Pope has a completely different attitude as compared with the immediate predecessors. Homosexuals, fine. Respect. Jesus said, do not judge if you don't want to be judged. So who am I to judge an homosexual man if he's a good man? Who am I? That's a marvelous way of putting it, because who am I to judge?
The risk is this. The risk is of